Hello, D&D fans, and welcome to episode 1 of Holy Rollerz, a cleric-centered 4.5 edition D&D game where each of the characters can channel divinity, but not necessarily common sense. It is with inestimable pleasure that I welcome you to the world of Ienia. Like many worlds, Ienia has been shaped dramatically by conflict in the heavens. But unlike most worlds, Ienia stood upon the brink of apocalyptic destruction. The forgotten gods who created the world bonded themselves to their creation after the manner of primordials, and thus became something more. They became forces of nature. Now able to draw upon primal and divine power, the forces grew indifferent to their creation and began to wander within the planes and even beyond them. This lack of divine rulership caused the very laws of nature to begin to unravel. And at the height of the chaos, Ienia even began to fall from its orbit. It was then that the Supreme Council of the Tarsirian Empire performed a desperate work of magic. Combining their arcane power, they pierced the reality barriers and sent out a call across the astral plane for divine help. That call was answered by the Outer Gods, a pantheon of deities who immigrated to Ienia to save it from destruction. The Outer Gods restored natural law, invested their power in mortal clerics, and began to guide Ienia towards a greater destiny. But as interloper deities, the Outer Gods' dominion over Ienia is imperfect, and they constantly struggle with the other planar powers who seek to depose them and claim the world for themselves. And so our story begins. And now we will begin to get to know the adventuring party, and we will go ahead and start that with Ryan.
That's you, Ryan.
Yeah.
But he's the one in the box down here.
There he is. No, so
up there.
Sorry, Matt. My computer just froze.
We will go ahead and begin with Jeffrey.
All right.
Woo! Technology.
Gizik was the son of the witch Elspeth and a long-forgotten ogre whom she likely devoured. His mother, who had always wanted a daughter, cruelly rejected her son and treated him like a servant. Although his mother never taught him any magic, Gizik was able to watch Elspeth, practice her dark arts, and learn some magic of his own. One night, a band of roving knights came and slew the witch Elspeth and burned her corpse and house. Gizik escaped and was reveling in his newfound freedom when the goddess Sigrund spoke to him and gave him new orders.
JT.
When a kindly priest of Best Terra, goddess of healing and protection, rescued an orphan child, he strongly suspected that the boy possessed celestial blood. Father Garin named the child Michael and hoped that he would follow in his footsteps and join the clergy. But fate took a cruel turn. In the very chapel he grew up in, a dark figure descended upon the young man, sinking sharp fangs into his neck. The man awoke with a bloodthirst, and the very shadows themselves came alive and spoke to him. They called him to the service of the god of the night, or the death god, and revealed the true nature of his divine blood. The shadows named him Anduriel. That's Anduriel, yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah. The son of a famous actress and a wandering priest of Sindel, goddess of love, Lachlan Dulé was raised among the upper echelon of Palisboon's artistic elite. Trained in the bardic arts by the finest tutors, Lachlan grew bored with his famous mother's social circle, and yearning to learn more about his father, he began to visit Sindel's temple in Talisman, the House of Repose. It was there that Lachlan found his true calling and embraced the path of the paladin. Now Lachlan dreams of traveling to the Adari Republic and joining the Heartseekers, an elite order of knights who serve Sindel and travel the land, fighting to preserve beauty and love. In this way, Lachlan hopes to better understand his father and who Sindel expects him to become.
And I will go ahead and read Jesse's bio, who we hope will join us after some technical issues a little bit later. Born in the rugged Arcantor Highlands, Kaelin was both blessed and cursed in her position as the chieftain's daughter. Where joy might have been expected at her birth, her father held little more than scorn, as she was not the much-desired male heir. Despite the strife, Kaelin was more than happy to escape the weight of her standing, basking in her mother's love and the wisdom of the tribe elders. spending much of her youth learning the way of the sword, the secrets of the forest, and every bit of dwarven lore she could get her dirty hands on. After a couple of deeply traumatic events, Kaelin was offered as a prize to the young son of a rival chieftain. Though he was half her age, she was to become Raha's third wife. Not content to hide in the shadows or to be someone's pawn, she attempted to escape. Accidentally activating her powers in the fight, things swiftly went from bad to worse. Now on the run, Kaelin's only clue to her strange destiny lies in the teachings of a compassionate priestess who tutored her on the sea voyage to the mainland. Young in the ways of Vahara, she is eager to learn all she can about her new faith and the strange collection of companions who she will soon find by her side. And with that, we will now begin, ladies and gentlemen. And we will start with the Gizik. Are you prepared, Gizik?
Prepared for what?
I don't think you can handle this. Okay, anyway, here we go. All right.
He was born ready.
He was so born ready. Gizik, you are gathering the last of your things, ransacking your mother's burned out cabin for anything of value before you leave the Adari Republic behind forever. Despite the fire, it is surprisingly well preserved. The roof is mostly intact, as are the walls. There are holes in them, of course, but you are looking through. Much of what was useful has been burned, but you are finding some knickknacks here or there, a few perhaps ritual components and things like that. And then something disturbing happens. The broom that was sitting in the corner of the room, leaning against it, perfectly leveraged, falls to the floor with no momentum or any force that you could see. So I'd like you to make a knowledge arcana check, please. $13. Oh, that's good. That's exactly what you needed. Okay.
I'll try to roll better next time.
So Gizik, remember that you learned everything that you know about magic, you learned by observation. There weren't very many lessons. You were lucky if you could get Elspeth, your hag mother, to answer a question for you on a good day. So
I avoided her when I could.
Yeah, which is probably a really good idea. And you slept outside, so you're not really very familiar with the inside of the cabin. But that being said, she didn't. Yeah, so
I had to clean it.
Well, you probably had to clean it, and then you were right outside collecting or gathering. So who knows? But so you do know this though: when a broom falls in a witch's cabin, and it looks like it's unable to do so, or it's stirred, you know that is a sign of trouble. And so you immediately would probably do what?
I would immediately grab the broom and lean it back up against the wall.
You're going to try, no trouble. Okay. All right. So in a pathetic attempt to control a portent, Gizik, who clearly doesn't know enough about magic, is trying to mess with fate. Good idea. Okay. So the next things that happen are fairly disturbing. A breeze begins to blow through the cabin in a rather disturbing way. It's not really, the cabin's not really open enough for the wind to be shifting things the way that it is. Nevertheless, a breeze is moving through the cabin, and it's picking up speed. What do you do?
I've got enough stuff. I'm leaving the cabin now.
Okay, the door slams in front of you.
You turn towards calm. I'm getting the heck out of this cabin. It's ghost.
Yeah. No, you isn't. Okay. And boom, the door slams shut. Okay. And then the curtains, what was left of the curtains, which were surprisingly well preserved, burst into flames. And that fire stays pretty much on the curtains, but it does look like it might spread. So now what do you want to do?
No, stop. And I just kind of throw my shoulder at the door and try and bust my way out.
All right. So you throw your shoulder at the door, and then the door vanishes and it looks like a part of the wall, and you ram right into the wall. And it's rather painful. And then a loud noise draws your attention across the room, and you see that Elspeth's cauldron begins to wobble back and forth. And it starts moving more and more, and then it tumbles out of the fireplace. And the opening of the cauldron is pointed towards you. it begins pouring a thick purple smoke out of it. And it begins to kind of surround you and occupy all the walls of the cabin. And suddenly the roof and the floor just kind of are swallowed up in smoke to where you look like you're standing or surrounded by fog. And then
I'm a little bit freaked out right now.
And good, I'm doing my job then.
Your house is haunted by Prince. Of course you're freaked out.
Yeah, purple smoke, JT, not purple rain.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, purple smoke. So then a face appears in the smoke. However, we now have our next cast member, Jessie. So we're going to invite her in and go ahead and make some technical adjustments. And here's
Hi,
Jessica.
I'm sorry I'm late. I
That's
apologize.
okay. That's okay. Jeffrey is going to make a few technical adjustments, I think, right now to
Excellent.
the windows so that as we move on to Twitch, that it will work a little bit better.
Okay. My sincerest apologies.
Well, what's the
terrible
saying, Jesse? Sometimes late, but worth the wait.
Oh,
Well,
preach.
thank you, sir.
I've never heard that
Preach.
one, but
I'll take it, though.
it works.
Yeah,
Nor have I, but I'm totally taking it.
we're going with it tonight. It's
You're
happening.
right.
Yeah.
Age old. It's age old, like a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Just-
Exactly. I must say, you both look spectacularly better without the mustache. Thank God.
Now, Jesse's referring to the fact
Thanks.
in episode 0, JT and I were wearing mustaches, and we won't explain why, because we did that in episode 0, which will, by the way, come out during the holiday Christmas season. So that's when we're probably going to put that episode out for you. But in any case,
They were 90% delicious, 10% creepy. I'll take that ratio.
It looks slightly better on your face than in the sink, though. I'll say that.
yeah. And so anyway, the beard's making its comeback, and
Yeah.
that's what's going on. So Jesse, I will let you know, since we're picking up and welcoming you, and we know that tech problems are just a part of D&D streaming.
Yes.
We'll fix them as we go. I already read through your bio, so they've
Oh,
got
thank you.
background information on Kaylin.
Thank you, sir. Much
Okay,
obliged.
no problem. So, Jeffrey, you are ready to continue? Shall I
Yes,
move?
no, we
or-
can continue.
All right, let's continue.
This is
So-
still all live, so.
Yes, well, that's great. All right, hi, live people. Hello.
We should have had a signal for when you were like, kaka, kaka,
Yeah.
we're ready.
Yeah, Cold Cheese says hello. He says 5th edition. Yeah. Yes, exactly. He says if you can't show up on time, just show up. I always say, Cold Cheese, we love you, and we're grateful that you're in the chat. So
Yes, thank you very much.
we will go ahead and continue. All right. So here's what happened, just to catch you up. A cauldron dumped out of the fire and poured out purple smoke that has now filled Gizik's mother's cabin that he was ransacking. Now,
Okay.
he is nothing but lost in fog inside of it, and you're not even sure, Gizik, at this point, that the fog, and you're not even sure the hut is still there that you were in. You're just kind of swallowed up in fog, and that is when a face appears in the smoke. It is a blotchy, purple, pinched, wrinkled skin with a long, hooked nose protruding from a green cowl, and a thick braid of gray, wiry hair extends from out of the cowl.
That does not sound friendly.
Wow, you're ugly.
Yeah, does he say that out loud?
Yeah?
Okay. The face looks up like this, and she goes, "Thou? Who in the hells art thou? Where is Elspeth, the stupid girl?"
She, got herself killed.
"By whom? When?"
Just barely. Knights came by, killed her, burned her.
Okay. She just growls at you briefly, and then she mumbles something about possibly having known that already and forgotten it. And then she says, "Wretched knights, stupid Adar and their stupid church. They shall be the ruin of all. Thou art a worthless little toady, a sprig of vomit of a dog on a rotten, festering carbuncle. Thou art a bloated slug, but thou shalt serve me." So she's a real self-esteem builder.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, it
Super
won't.
lady.
Yeah, she's great. So, Gizik, you need to make a knowledge religion check, and you
all right.
only need a 10.
I think I've got it. Natural
Okay.
20.
Oh, nat 20. Okay.
I know what's
Gizik, you
going
are-
on.
you are having a flashback as this occurs. You are reasonably sure that you have encountered something that all hags dread having happened to them. And that is that the goddess of the hags, Sigrund, has turned her attention to you. And you know, not only that is she the goddess of hags, she is a demi-power. So she's not one of these greater deities, but you know that if she shows up in a witch's cauldron, that Sigrund is not generally going to be there to help, shall we say. That
Is she ever, like...
If she's ever... Well, and that's something that he knows with the natural training. There are covens of hags who are more religious that Sigrund does favors for. The smartest covens, the ones that are the most faithful or religious, which is quote unquote, they know how to strike deals with her to come out ahead in the bargain. You're reasonably sure that you're not in that position.
I'm kind of independent, yeah.
So anyway, she says, but thou shalt serve me. And she says... Take from yon cupboard a small vial. Now fill it with the liquid from the cauldron. Do you?
No.
You don't do it?
I don't do it.
Okay.
I'm just kind of muttering, no.
All right. You say no, and she smiles like wicked and wildly with a mouthful of nasty, razor-sharp, jagged teeth. And then she lifts her hand up and just goes like this, and you feel like you've been bewitched. Now, you've bewitched other creatures before, so you know how to make them move around. But you are now the one who is being manipulated, and you can fight against it if you like, but you are completely overpowered.
All right, so struggling, I go over to the cupboard. Struggling to fight it, I go over to the cupboard, get the vial out, and take it over to the cauldron.
All right, so you're like, are you fighting her the whole way?
Yeah.
She laughs. She's like,
it's not effective, but I'm fighting.
But you're fighting. Okay. You do as she says against your will. And you take this small vial that Elspeth had, a small little crystal vial, and you dip it in the liquid of the cauldron, and you put the stopper in, and then you tie a piece of rope and you tie it around your neck. And as you do so, as you make the knot, a sickly green glow begins to pulse from that little crystal vial. And then your limbs are restored to your control.
I didn't like that.
Okay.
Not fun.
Crap.
All right. She says, I don't care what you like.
Obviously.
She said, okay. She says, now, thou shalt call upon my name to wound the soul of thy enemies. Get thee hither to the town. There thou shalt find a witless lass being tied to a stake and burned for her foolish tongue. Yeah, harsh words, sorry. She says, get thee hence and preserve her life. Keep her safe until I speak with thee again, or I'll set thy toenails growing inward. Thy loins shall wither and rot like a grape too long on the vine. Thou shalt eat and still hunger, drink and forever thirst. Thy sports teams will lose every match. The youths will win forevermore.
That's the one that'll get him to move.
Wait,
I don't
thought you
like
said
her
this is
very
bad?
much.
Yeah, she's a piece of work. So anyway, she cackles once, and then the smoke kind of dissipates, and her face fades out of the smoke, and you are left in the hut by yourself. You also feel something very strange. You feel a power inside of you that you have never felt before, and you can't determine where it's coming from. As a witch, you are practiced in manipulating the spectrum, which is the invisible current of magic that flows throughout the entire world that a witch uses to draw in for her power. So you are used to reaching out to the spectrum, gathering the colors to bind a spell. But you now feel like there's a power inside of you that's coming from somewhere else. And it's very, very strange. But nevertheless, that is what has happened to you.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Okay, so that lady wants me alive?
That's
Obviously, I don't know this yet, but
No.
yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
Well, you're assuming that you're the one with the foolish tongue that's going to get you in trouble.
It's totally me, but okay, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. Who knows? It could be Anduriel. I don't know. Maybe he's in drag. I don't know. Don't assume. So,
Spoiler alert,
that's
it's
true.
not Endurial.
okay. Okay. Gizik, what do you do?
I grumble a little bit, but I kind of like the power too that I've gotten. I'm really happy with that. It's just great feeling, exactly what I want.
So she has granted you more power, it seems. Not that you are quite sure how to use it yet.
So yeah, in my appreciation of the new power and fear of the ingrown toenails and everything else,
yes,
I reluctantly decide to do what she told me to do, and I head out for the town.
All right, so you head out to the town. It's a pretty scary prospect because you're used to kind of sneaking into the town at night. There are probably several people who know who you are. You may have even met some people. That's up to you. But the case is right now, you've not really been there much in the middle of the day, and it is only about noon. So this ought to be interesting for you. And with that, we will switch to Anduriel. Anduriel, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, Anduriel.
That's probably how he talks.
I'm sure he does.
He's like, yes.
Okay. All right. Anduriel, you have been tracking a vampire spawn across the countryside of Lair in the Adari Republic for more than a week, following the trail of dead animals and farmers until you caught up with the vampire spawned in an abandoned granary. You now have him shoved into the window frame on the second story, and one swift blow will knock him out into the air and the sunlight. And so as you hold him there, he begs for his life. No. And he's kind of like, hold on to you. And he begs you not to kill him.
I calmly look up at the poor creature in front of me, nod my head and just say pathetic, and shove him into the sunlight.
Okay. You kick him out the window of the granary on the second floor into the sunlight, and he screams, no, no. And then he bursts into flames, and before the vampire spawn can even strike the floor, he's ashes on the wind. And you are left there in the silence of the granary. And you're just kind of looking out the window at what you've done, probably a sense of satisfaction or not, that's up to you. And then you hear a voice come from behind you, and it says, well executed, and the vengeance. The death god is pleased. Have you no remorse for the kill?
Is remorse necessary following the orders of Naylock? I don't think so.
Okay, you hear a just kind of disturbing laughter from behind you along with the voice. Do you turn to see it?
I offer him a lozenge. I'm like, what is that laugh?
You're like,
no,
here, take that.
Bro,
bro, take a tic tac.
Just a little Ricola. No, okay. I don't do that. I turn to face the voice, and I say, what are you doing here?
All right, so you are suspecting that this is the Shadow Master, who is an enigmatic head of the Church of Naylock, but he has never manifested himself in this way before. Normally, you are used to the shadows gathering in the room and speaking to you. Now, what happens is you look down and around, and you don't see a shadow moving, but you do see two glowing green eyes where your head is on your shadow. And then your shadow tears itself off of the floor and it stands upright in front of you. For a moment, it looks just like you, or like your shadow would look. And then it begins to change its shape in the air in front of you. It expands to loom over you ever so slightly, and it widens to resemble a hooded, robed figure, just kind of like, standing like this with the two arms of the robe facing each other and a cowl over a head. It's all shadow, so it's not like you see a person, but this has never happened before. Normally, when the Shadow Master speaks to you, the shadows of the objects around you will tear themselves away, and then it will just be a mass of darkness that you will see in the corner. So this is a different manifestation to you, although you're not exactly sure what it is. Would you make a knowledge religion check?
I would. I rolled a 1.
A natural one?
Natural 1. I know nothing.
Okay. You are fairly convinced that the goddess of flowers is now speaking to you through the shadow, and you're terrified that she is going to want you to gather a bouquet for her and offer it upon her altar. And all of the other worshipers of the death god will make fun of you. No, anyway. Okay, so you are fairly sure that this is a divine manifestation from the Shadow Master, but you're not really sure why it's coming this way. It's very unnerving to you. Anyway, he says to you that you are to travel to the town of Holydell in Horta, where there's an Arcanite girl whose tongue will endanger her life. And he tells you that you are to serve as her guardian and to guard 2 others. One of them is a bard, and the other is the son of a hag.
Okay. And Duriel is, well, first of all, he's a little shaken by the experience because I rolled a 1. I'm like,
did I do something?
Sorry. But then I kind of regained myself a little bit. I've been around a while.
Quite a while.
Typically, the Dark Lord gives me a semblance of rest after I've done one of his jobs for him. Why should I go and help these people?
Okay. He tells you that the preservation of this girl's life could make the difference between the survival of not only the gods of the Pantheon's presence in this world, but also your own survival. And then he tells you, climb to the bell tower and wait there. Do not enter the church alone. And he tells you, if you do this, you will be rewarded greatly, and paths to power will open to you that you never dreamed possible.
As the Dark Lord wishes, so I will do.
Okay, so you say that, and the hooded figure just kind of nods at you. But as he nods, he falls into the ground, and your shadow shrinks back to shape itself to your reflection.
Okay, and then I sort of think to myself, that insufferable hack. I cannot suffer taking orders from him much longer.
The poor Shadow Master. Yeah. Well, maybe you'll replace him. Who knows? Let's see how long.
Just what we need.
Let's see how long the show goes. Okay. Kaylin, precious lamb, are you ready?
God, no, but let's go.
Okay, here we go. So, Kaylin, you come into the town of Holydell, and you came in last night with a caravan that was hired by the Ardent Alloys Metallurgy Company. You are on your pilgrimage to the Golden Towers, which is the Temple of Vahara in the city of Menor Aiden. And this is just one of your stops. Now, given that the Ardent Alloys cargo is very expensive, they deal in metals, they like to hire as many people as possible to protect their shipments. Now,
Okay.
Sister Victoria arranged this for you. It was very easy to do, particularly once she informed them about your gifts. And so this was a rather good deal for you. Now,
Okay.
that being said, you have been gifted by Sister Victoria with two things. The first thing that she gives you is she gives you 10 golden cavaliers, which are the coins of the Adaria Republic.
Okay.
Now, 10 golden cavaliers is 10 golden coins. Have you ever seen that much money before? Just out of curiosity.
God, no. She's probably never seen 5 put together, let alone 10.
Okay. So you have never seen this much money before in your life. And she tells you to be careful with it because it's all that you're going to have unless you find work along the way. But
Right.
she tells you that 10 golden cavaliers should be more than enough to get you to Menor Iden, if you're wise. Now, she also gifts
I'm
you with a
frugal.
copy of the Book of Twin Glories, which is Vahara's holy book. And that book itself, as you have begun reading it on your trip, is a kind of an experiment in dualities. The book is all the writings of the prophets of Vahara and her 7 disciples who supposedly walked with her while she was here on Ienia at some point, right? So it's a treasure, and you're finding it very interesting because the point of the book is to get you to look at things from multiple perspectives. The promise being that if you study the Book of Twin Glories, that you will develop the light of reason and begin to look at things differently. So
Is it weird that I want to read it even though I know it doesn't exist?
no, not at all, because I'm sure I'll be. I'm sure at some point I'm going to be writing scriptures for it. So, and maybe I'll let Jeffrey write scriptures for it. I don't know, but
Awesome.
anyway, so you have just arrived to the town of Hollydale. You are, correct me if I'm wrong, still wearing the dress that you have been fleeing in.
Yeah. She's not looking real good clothing wise.
Okay. It's a nice dress for an Arcanite, for the
Okay.
people of your island, but it's in tatters. It's been slashed a couple times.
You know, it's a little out of season.
It might be out of season. It's not up with the Dari fashion. You know. So anyway, lots of strangeness here. Where would you like to go first in the town of Hollydale?
Well, I'm assuming, like, do we arrive on the center? Do we arrive in like a corner of it?
Your caravan arrives in the center of a town, and it's rather a bustling enterprise. On your way into the center of the town, you passed a lot of farmsteads and homes that were built along the way, along the road even, or that were built just a distance from the road. And the closer you get to the center of the town, the more compact the area becomes, the more houses that you see more frequently.
Okay.
So now, in the center of the town, you are finding all kinds of things. There's things that you're familiar with. There's a blacksmith. There's a tanner. There's a candle maker. There's all kinds of things like this. So anyway, you see lots of different, shops. You see people hawking their wares. There's a flower stand. I mean, just about anything that you can imagine, people are trying to sell. And it's a much wider variety than you're used to, because on the island of Arcantor, one clan will barter with another, right?
Right. There's not really much in the way of like a metropolis area. So for her, this is like somebody just dropped her in the middle of Chicago.
Yeah. It's and the funny thing is, this isn't even the city of Horta, for which the state is named. So
Exactly.
you're
She
in a
has no
town.
idea. So this is huge.
We drop her in a city. I mean, who knows?
This is like a back road of Wisconsin or something, but to her, it's like, yay!
Exactly. So where would you like to go first?
Well, her nerd brain would be on the lookout for a bookstore,
Okay.
but she's been on the run. She's probably pretty hungry. I'm going to say maybe she's looking for like a tavern,
Okay.
someplace to eat, someplace to maybe socialize and find some work.
Okay. All right. You think, well, I maybe need to get a bite to eat, or who knows what. And immediately you hear music coming from a tavern nearby. And there is a beautifully constructed wooden inn with lovely glass windows, another luxury that you're fairly unfamiliar with.
Yes.
And there's music coming out of this tavern, and you're immediately attracted to it. But that is when something very strange happens. A little ways off in the distance, you can see a church. Now, you are reasonably sure that this is a chapel dedicated to the goddess Vestera, who's the goddess of healing and protection, commerce, a few other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are looking at the tavern and the music kind of draws you, but you see people kind of moving out of the market, and other people are coming up to their friends or acquaintances, tapping them on the shoulder, whispering to them and pointing over to the church. And everybody kind of seems to be moving in that direction. And that is when something that you are slightly familiar with happens. You look over at where everyone seems to be congregating, and you see a shaft of bright sunlight seem to kind of illuminate the area. And that light looks very familiar to you.
Yes, she has a connection with when she sees light do certain things that are maybe out of the ordinary, she can follow it. Does she know yet that that's specifically a sign of Vahara, or does she just know that she needs to follow it?
Well, let's make a knowledge religion check and see how well you paid attention to Sister Victoria's teachings.
Oh, God, what do I roll?
Don't roll a 1.
Roll the 1 die 20 and add your religion skill bonus. Are you trained in religion?
I want to say yes, but you know what? I don't have my character sheet open. Give me a hot second, please.
Okay.
To do that. Doobie-doobie-doo.
I will open your character also.
Thank you, dear.
And so
I'll
that
be
I can
there momentarily.
guide you. Yes, you are trained in knowledge religion.
Am I? Okay, thank you.
Yes, you have a +8. So go ahead and roll a knowledge religion check on the 1 die 20 and add 8.
19, so 27?
Okay, dang. Okay, dang.
I was a good student.
So, yes. All right, so not only did you pay attention, but you paid very, very careful attention. Yeah, you not only Sister Victoria was teaching this lesson, and you freaking took notes in the margins, okay? So you are reasonably sure that you are meant to follow the light, and you recognize it, and you immediately flash back to when the light guided you out of the tent that you were tied up in.
Okay.
So, you, however, do hear the lure of the music, and it does call you. The inn looks pretty comfy, so it's up to you.
No, she's like, the inn will still be there. I'll go here first, because this is where I'm supposed to go.
Okay. All right. So you start following over, and now you are on the map that I have sent to everyone.
Okay.
So you are now on that map. There is a huge gathering in the chapel, not in the chapel, outside of the chapel, excuse me. There's a huge gathering of people, and there's a man who is standing up on a kind of, I guess you would call it a wooden platform. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a dais, it's a wooden platform. You actually have to walk up the side to get up it, right?
Okay.
So he's standing on a wooden platform, and you go through the gates of the churchyard, and you're now in the churchyard with this big crowd of people, right?
Got it.
And this man, he has an interesting demeanor about him. The light that is falling all over the churchyard, it seems pretty illuminated, and yet you're the only one who seems to notice anything special about it.
Okay.
Nobody else is looking up going, oh, wow, this is, it's a long time for a shaft of sunlight to come through the clouds and illuminate an area.
Right.
And but you look up at him, and the light is kind of scattering around him. It's not falling on him the way that it should be. And he looked up. He is an elf, in fact, and he is a fairly young elf. He looks to be, I don't know, maybe in what a human would be in their 20s. And he's definitely a high elf. He's dressed in a beautiful red kind of velvet crushed tunic, and he has brown deerskin leggings, and he's wearing a kind of just beautiful white cloak that has a, kind of a strawed hood in the back, right? Except it curves down a little bit. And he has a kind expression on his face, and he says, "Friends, we rejoice on this glorious morning at the news of the gift the goddess has given us. For above her protection, and her healing above her wisdom, and even her hope is the sweet news of our deliverance. And there's kind of like people like are whispering to each other, and they're like, were we needing deliverance again? Like, I don't like, and then they're kind of looking at each other, and some of them were like, well, I was delivered last week. Are you delivered? I don't know what your problem is. You hear all these conversations going on, right? Mm-hmm. And then he says, she grants us freedom, the freedom to guide our own desires now. Don't you want to live by your own truth? And people are kind of just nodding like, well, yeah, I want to live by my own truth. Am I not living by my own truth? Gertrude, are you living by your truth? Anyway, so it's kind of disturbing people.
It's an Oprah moment for sure.
Yeah, it's Oprah. Tom Cruise is going to be up on the couch any second.
I'm living that guy's truth. Get him.
Yes, exactly. He says, and the truth is that the gods have served their purposes, and they wish us to put our faith in ourselves, in the faith of man. And he kind of waits, and everyone's like, revival, it's very strange, right? And he says, brethren, the faith of man must grow. We must believe in ourselves from now on, in the wisdom and destiny of we alone who can guide ourselves. For how can we achieve greatness in ourselves if we are constantly looking to the heavens, away from ourselves, who are the truly divine? And everyone's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Now just like slowly starting to freak out.
Okay. So she's like, I don't remember reading this in the book of Twin Lord.
Exactly. Like where is the chapter on this? I'm confused.
Okay. Now he says, somebody calls out from the crowd, just kind of a middle-aged gentleman who's wearing an apron, kind of covered in soot. He says, but who will bless us? And people are like, yeah, who's going to bless us? And he says, well, we must now bless ourselves. The goddess has spoken to me through one of her 7 chosen, the High One. The High One will be her final messenger to us to prepare us to glorify ourselves. But we cannot exalt ourselves without casting aside the ruins of the old. The field must be burned before it can be resown. To raise ourselves up, we must tear down the chapel, a monument to decay. The faith of man must rise. Say it with me. The faith of man must rise. And people are like, well, the faith of man must rise. All right. People are kind of chanting it. It's rather disturbing. Now, he lets them kind of build it up. He leads the chant. It keeps going. Does Kaylin join in on the chant?
Hell no.
Okay. He points up to somebody from the congregation, and he says, little girl, come to me.
First of all, little girl is gonna be like, really? Okay.
Okay, it's not you. It's a little girl.
God.
It's like a 8-year-old little girl, and he calls her up, and he tells her, "You little girl, will you help us tear down the ruins of the old?" And she's like, "Okay." My mommy said that I should try to help people. So,
it's Tiny Evelyn.
Okay, it is. Okay. And he hands her a stone, and he tells her, shatter the glass window in the church.
My God.
You're going to start with the windows.
He says, do it now. Throw the stone through the... It's okay. You will have her favor if you do this thing. Throw the stone through the window. Okay.
Kaylin is like trying not to hyperventilate in the crowd.
Okay. Kaylin, he says, it's okay, little girl. You can tell. Well, make an insight check. We'll see how much you can tell.
Okay. That's just a 20, yes?
I don't know if you're trained in insight. No, you're not. So it's you add a +1 because you only have a wisdom of 13. So roll 20, okay. Roll 1d20 and add 1.
13 total.
All right, so 13 total. You can tell that this little girl is on the verge of tears.
Oh.
She's not hysterical,
But she's upset.
she's very upset. She doesn't want to do it, but that's pretty much all you can tell.
Okay.
Okay. By the
So
way,
can
I'm going to
she-
keep going here unless you tell me she does something. So,
Can she run up there?
Kaylin, of course she can.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, she's gonna run up there and
All right.
tell the preacher.
Okay, the little girl is getting ready to throw. So, do you run up onto the dais or onto the platform?
And yell, stop.
All right. So, Kaylin,
Bless
right
you.
now we're going to put you on square 8N.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you run up onto the platform and you say what
Stop.
to the little girl?
No, to the preacher. Stop.
All right. The little girl thinks you're talking to her and she drops the stone and cries.
Oh, oh. And she looks at the
Way to
preacher.
go, Kaylin.
I know. Buddy, this is great.
Okay.
She
All right.
looks at the preacher and goes, stop. She doesn't want to do this. Leave her be. Let her go.
She says, we must tear down the old if we are to raise ourselves up anew. But if you feel that you'd rather throw the stone, and he picks the stone up and he goes and tries to hand it to you.
She doesn't. She does take it. She secretly wants to brain him with it, but she won't.
Okay.
Oh.
Not on your first visit to the town. Maybe the next
Exactly.
day. You know.
Maybe try
That's what I
not
was
to get
hoping
arrested
for.
for murder on day one. Just saying.
Okay. So she takes the
So
stone.
she takes it, and she says, "This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. How do we know that you speak the truth just because you say you do?"
And he says, my child, in the most patronizing way possible. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. He says, my child, I am a priest of the goddess. I am her messenger. Do you doubt the gods? Do you doubt their divine message through I, one of their elected?
No, but I
Come on,
doubt
priest.
you.
What do you say?
No, but I doubt you.
Okay, so you say I doubt you, and people in the congregation start like, yeah, this guy's effed up, man. Like, they're like they start just kind of
It's typical mob mentality.
yeah. They're like, this is just it's really this isn't right. Okay.
Why is he elf-splaining to her?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Nice.
So you say this isn't right, and he says, I find your lack of faith disturbing, sister.
Star Wars reference number 1.
There you go. Okay. And he says, if you will not believe, then perhaps you are part of what must be cleansed for us to build ourselves anew. The faith of man must rise.
Not in you, and I'm not your sister.
Okay.
She takes that very literally, by the way, the whole sister thing. Like,
Okay.
that's like,
Okay.
you're not related.
All right, I'm not your sister. And he goes, you've heard her. You have
Crap.
heard the woman declare herself to be our enemy. She is no sister of yours, brothers and sisters. And so she must be burned.
Oh, crap.
Burn the witch! Burn
Okay.
the witch!
Yeah, which is more, where did that come? What? Okay.
Stop it.
So,
And like, she's trying to explain that, yes, she does have a god, but it's not your god, and that's okay. And like, but
okay.
it's totally falling on deaf ears, I assume.
Yeah, so she's babbling here. Like, wait. I like Vahara. You know her, don't you? So,
That's my girl.
okay, so you're kind of just talking. Nobody's listening. All right, now, before you know it, people have laid a hold of you, and
crap.
you are having a horrible flashback. As for the second time in your life, you get tied to a stake on the dais and overpowered.
Fears out of the floor.
Yeah, well, no. What he does is he tells people to fetch wood, that we have to burn the church or the goddess will curse them, because the faith of man must rise.
Oh,
So these people, they look really scared, and they go and they fetch wood. And so everyone starts bringing wood. You get dragged up there and you get tied up. And you're sitting there saying to yourself, again? So,
crap.
for the second time in your life,
Never speak.
you find yourself tied to a stake. So, Lachlan, we will now shift over to you. Lachlan, you are on the stage of the Blessed Lady Inn in the middle of your first set for the afternoon, as you've been hired to play for the lunch and the dinner crowd. Bam, the owner of the inn, is reasonable enough, but he gets his name from the club that he's always fiddling with behind the bar and laying on the table. And he isn't really paying you much, but Bam seems like overly concerned about getting his money worth out of you. So you're just trying to make sure that you keep the peasants happy or whatnot. So Lachlan, shall we see what kind of performance you're giving?
Oh yeah. Uh, 19.
All right, 19.
Beyonce.
Lachlan, you are doing quite well. So you're up there. What instrument are you jamming on?
The lute.
Okay, so
Not
you're
the
up
lute.
there on
The
the
lute, the guitar. Yeah.
The guitar. All right, you're up there on the lute, and your fingers are not the finest performance you've ever given, but with practiced ease, you're hitting every note. I mean,
Like,
it's
you do this
awesome.
in your sleep.
Yeah. And people are just loving this. I mean, there are people in the background and they're going, two people in the inn even get up and they start to dance. And nobody else is like, oh, they're dancing. What could come of that? And so people are dancing. Yeah, it's scandalous. And it's just two young people, but everybody's so happy that, they're like, wow, this is great music. Well, in the middle of your performance, somebody comes out and throws open the door. Now, this doesn't really throw you per se because you're a natural performer, right? It's not the first time somebody's interrupted one of your performances and you just kind of keep going, right? But it's pretty irritating because more people come in and they start whispering to some of the patrons who are sitting in the Blessed Lady Inn. And gradually, they all start to get up and leave. And soon you find yourself playing for one little old man who's sleeping in the corner of the tap room.
Oh no, I stole your crowd.
And even Bam goes outside and leaves his club and he goes out too. And you're like, so
And I'm here because
you are now playing for no one.
Well, let's take a quick slug of whiskey and then go see what's going on.
Oh, you helped yourself to a drink when the bar when no one's
yeah.
looking, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Lachlan's like, well, okay.
done that.
You pour yourself a cold one, okay, and then you head outside.
Please tell me you carry it out with you,
That he carries what?
Wandering.
His
Oh
tankard.
no,
He's
Bam-
carrying it
Bam
with
will
him.
chart.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so you head out and you see this kind of really big crowd forming. Okay, and they're heading out of the market. People are leaving their stalls and their goods unguarded in the market. I mean, it's ripe for a thief to come in and just ooh, and some of this, A few people are kind of locking up their display case, but it's not uncommon for the towns in the Adari Republic to have a really high level of trust. It is a lawful good kingdom for all intents and purposes. So they're kind of just wandering in the direction of the church, and I'm assuming that you follow?
Oh yeah, I gotta be up close. I gotta see.
Okay, who's stealing your audience? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wander up and you see something really irritating. You come up through the gate of the chapel where everybody seems to be gathered, and the closer you get, the more you begin to observe different expressions on people's faces. Make an insight check, please.
Is this like where we live in the country we don't lock our doors?
Yeah, a little
17.
bit. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. So with a 17, Lachlan, as you walk forward, you start to see that the people, the further away from the church they are, the chapel, the more scared they look. And the people on the other side of the church ground walls, which aren't really high, they're only about 1 square up. You could climb over quite easily. It's a little above your waist. So the people are looking really scared. But the closer you get to the platform where Kaylin is tied up, the closer you start to see that people are looking really satisfied with themselves.
Ooh.
Like, you know what? I'm awesome.
Like, we haven't burned a chick in a while. This is great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just look like this is not only the right thing to do, but I'm so awesome for doing this. And they're looking around, and you also notice, Lachlan, with that high roll of yours, that people are sizing each other up. The closer they are to this platform, the more they're kind of like looking at each other, and they're judging each other, or they're like, I'm prettier than her. Like, my guns are bigger than his. Like, his farm. You even hear a couple comments like, I don't think his farmland's that rich, or whatnot.
No, he didn't.
He went there. He went there. Okay. All right, Lachlan, your heart sight begins to activate. And for those of you who do not know, Lachlan is a paladin with the goddess of love and has the ability to perceive affection or attachment in people instead of whether or not they have some kind of, undead or other nature. It's unique to the paladins of Sindel. Lachlan, you look out and it's a pretty disturbing sight because you see there is a distinct lack of love in the crowd that is closer, and it's big. It's a really big crowd. In fact, you've never activated your heart sight before and seen it so low. But you do notice 4 people in the crowd that are looking like that fire, that fire of affection or love is like struggling. And you think that if maybe you were to say the right thing, you could turn some of these people against burning Kaelin.
Which would be great.
And this is the Church of Bestera, right?
There's a chapel of Bestera in every town. So that's
where we are.
Yeah. You are right in front of the chapel of Bestera. You are as far as you want to be in the churchyard.
I want to go stand in front of the platform and play a little, like a couple of chords to get people's attention, and then I want to speak.
Okay. All right. So you go out there with your what instrument?
My lute.
You go out there with your lute. Okay. And I'm assuming you go up right in front of the dais. What square are you on?
L9.
All right. You are going to be on bada bing, bada boom, L9. All right. Lachlan, you are right there. I will tell you that the priest of Bestera is on square 7J right next to Kaelin.
So Kaelin's on the sticks?
Yeah, Kaelin is on the sticks. She is on 7K. And Duriel, having been given the instruction to wait in the bell tower, you are on 4J, 6 squares up.
4J.
6 squares up.
Doing a little Quasimodo action up there.
Exactly.
Nice.
Is Gizix here yet?
Yeah, I'd be a better Quasimodo, right?
Yes.
Kind of big and
Yeah,
bunched.
bro.
Okay, Gizik will be here momentarily. I'm going to tell you where Gizik is right now. Gizik, you have just gotten to the point where you are noticing that the churchyard is packed and you're walking through the market where there's no one guarding anything.
Free for all.
Am I walking? Probably not.
It's up to you what you're doing.
I'm checking out the shops to see if there's anything I really want.
Okay. All right. You are checking out the shops. There's all manner of accoutrements. You can find just about anything on an adventuring kit that you might want. I mean, there's, like I said, there's flowers. There are some weapons, but not many. I mean, it's not really a huge seller, but you find jewelry. I mean, you can fiddle with things. It's up to you.
He's going for food. I mean, come on.
There are plenty of farmers market stalls if you are going for food. It's entirely up to you.
You're peakish.
It's a little
I'm just
peakish.
bored.
Yeah, I want to go over and see if I can find any herbs anywhere.
Okay. You definitely find a stall that is just chocked full of herbs. It's big. There's a wide variety. You could gather, if you wanted to, you could make an Arcana check and try to gather valuable herbs that would equate to Residium.
Sure, that sounds great.
Go for it.
All right, Arcana, that's a 20.
Okay. 20, natural 20 or total?
No, total.
Okay. So with a total 20, you can figure, you start gathering up all of these, like, ooh, it's of hollyhock.
And I grab a pouch to shove them into.
Yeah. Well, you can grab, there's a backpack out there probably. There's a satchel. There's a,
There's multiple bags stooged over his body.
So Gizik, you start collecting. You collect about 100 gold pieces or 100 gold pieces worth of Residium with that 20.
Very nice.
So it's all in different components, but more or less that is what you have now. Okay. Gizik, you are now in the market. You are about 2 movements away from the outside of the churchyard, so beyond the wall. Now, the rest of you, Lachlan, you have stepped up, and Duriel, you're in the bell tower, so if you ever want to do anything, interrupt me. Kaylin, you are tied to the stake on that square.
Shocker.
And people are gathering more wood, and you're looking, they're like, what is wrong with you people? And everyone who burns me at the stake. So they are looking at you, and that is more or less what is going on. They're just kind of building up that pyre, and they're looking so pleased with themselves. Like,
so
we're
can
just
you speak, or is there like a gag in my mouth?
No, you can speak. Nobody's done anything to you speaking. They just don't seem to be listening to you.
Do they listen to me?
They do. Lachlan, what do you say? What do you play? Do you want to make a performance check, or do you want to make another skill?
Well, I want to do it like a sort of a Baptist with with my lute. I don't have an organ to accentuate my words, but I'm gonna speak and then play a couple of chords and then speak and play a couple of chords. So
okay. You well, first of all, let's have you make a performance check to see how effective you are.
I got a 22.
Ooh, okay, so that's very effective. So you play a few dissonant chords and then run through this quick melody. You're like, and everyone's like, wait, what? ABC, Peacock, what? They're like, all right. And it's almost like the people look up at you like they just realized that you're there. And they look at you like, what are you doing? Use the wood from your instrument to build the fire.
Oh, God.
But you do have everyone's attention now, including the priest.
I want to say, is this the doctrine of Bestera? Isn't she the goddess of hope? Where's your hope? Where's your love? Okay,
you say that, and the cleric, Brother Mazamar, pops in, and Brother Mazamar says, they do have hope. They have hope that they can drive this evil witch's presence from out of their midst and bring glory unto this village.
Elin just starts beating her head against the post going, you've just made it worse, dude.
Okay. So the faith of man must rise. And he
but
goes,
hope is about redemption.
If I can hear this.
Okay. He says what, Lachlan?
Hope is about redemption, not about punishment.
Okay.
We can redeem her. We don't need to slay her.
Okay. So you say that, and those 4 people that you were looking at, they begin, that glow that you see inside of them kind of begins to move a little bit. You feel like you've got them to the point where they're probably willing to listen. So now what you say is extremely important. Now there are 4 of those people. I want you to make an insight check to see how well you can read them.
Only a 12.
Only a 12. Okay. So there is a 70-year-old lady with a snowy white mane of hair. There's about a 35-year-old metal worker in that apron, grizzled. He's got some iron tongs. He's kind of scowling. There's a woman in a really fancy dress. She looks like she's dressed for a party that only she is attending. Her hair is in fancy ringlets, all of the above. and whatnot. And then you also see there's a man, looks like a well-to-do man with a receding hairline. He's got kind of that friar haircut going on. And he kind of has an irritated look on his face. But that's pretty much what you see. With a 13, all you can really tell is that the old lady, we'll call her Irma Darkanel, you can tell that Irma is really not buying this, but she's scared. You can't really tell what's going on with the other people. Your nerves are probably just too bad.
Well, I want to point right at the middle worker, right at the man, and say, "Sir, are you going to let this woman die rather than be saved?"
Okay. All right. So we're using guilt. I'm assuming that's a diplomacy check. Or are you trying to scare him into the consequences?
No, I want to prick his conscience.
Okay. Make a diplomacy check. You need a 15.
Easy. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. Your heart sight shows you that fire inside of him, his affection. He looks up at Kaylin and it flares and it kind of fills him to an extent. Almost like it overcame that hate, that he was feeling, or that sense of entitlement. And he looks up at Kaylin and he's like shaking his head. He's like, "This isn't right. We don't execute people." He says, "Not without contacting the Night Lord." And people are like, now the people in the churchyard who are closest to the platform, they're like, "Sir Jacknell." Ugh. And they a lot of them roll their eyes, but some of the people closer to the edge, they're like, yeah, we should be contacting the Night Lord. Why aren't we contacting Sir Jacknell? And they're just like looking like that. But anyway, he seems like he puts his hand on his hammer, like this is wrong. And he says, "We should contact the Night Lord." So him you've got.
Well, I want to address the old lady now.
Okay.
And say, "Madam, if this were your daughter, would you want her burned or saved?"
Okay. Make a diplomacy check.
Good thing I'm trained in that. 15.
Okay. With a 15, she looks up and she kind of like a tear falls at the corner of her eye and she starts singing a hymn to Vestera. "Holy, holy lady who is glorious."
She has a lovely voice.
Okay, she has a lovely voice, and
I'm playing with her.
What's that?
I'm gonna accompany her.
Okay, make a performance check.
1.
A natural one?
Oh, natural 1, yeah.
Okay, you throw her off. You're so bad. All right, and Duriel, I need you to make a perception check. Kaylin, you can make one too.
Okay. That's just a 20, yes?
You are trained in perception?
18.
No. I mean, I'm rolling a 20.
Yes, roll the 1d20 and add 6 for your skill.
Thank you, sir.
18.
18? Okay.
20. Hold on. Head math. What's 16 plus 6?
22.
22? Okay.
22. Okay, so
Yes.
Anduriel, from your vantage point up on top of that tower, you can see that there are the people who are listening to Lachlan talk. They are starting to move in from the edges of the crowd angrily.
Oh,
And
crap.
Kaylin, with your 22, you can see there are people who are reaching for Lachlan, not close to him. They're reaching like they want to choke him.
Oh, that's not good.
How close are they to the platform?
The people, they're all over the churchyard, but the people who are reaching for Lachlan are maybe 3 or 4 squares away from him to the left of the podium. So you're looking at like 8H.
Okay.
Anyway, now you can also see from your vantage point, Anduriel, that the people who are like when that old lady started singing the song, people started picking it up like and singing like on the other side of the church gate. They were like, holy, holy. And then Lachlan was like, twang. Like, Lachlan picked up the guitar and he thought that she was singing a different hymn. So he's like, down in Louisiana in the New Orleans. She stops singing. And then the song just kind of dies.
Oh, no. Can I do what I'm essentially going to call magic? Tied to the stake still?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. You don't have to use your hands to use your psionic powers.
Yeah. I'm just going, because I know I have World Slipping Advance, which is basically teleporting.
Yeah. If you use one of your power points instead of shifting, you can teleport.
Oh. Can I teleport myself? That's just going to make me look bad, though.
If the witch teleports out of the...
Well, yeah, that's going to make me look real bad. It's not going to make things better.
You play your character. Now, I'll tell you what you could do.
The priest is really hoping you do that. The priest is like, please do that.
I'll tell you what you could do.
Give me a reason to kill you.
You could
show them what
use...
a real witch would do.
There you go. You could use your far hand to untie the ropes.
Where's... Oh, there it is.
Under your class feature.
Those are up there.
It's a range 5. It's a minor action. You can move a 20-pound object.
I'm like, do I zap myself off of the stake and thus inevitably make the situation far more worse than it already is?
No.
Or do I move Lachlan out of their grasp?
Well,
I'm climbing up on the platform.
You are? Okay. All right. Here is what happens. So, Kaylin, you have a split seconds before all hell breaks loose. Anduriel, they're moving in.
Okay. So do I need to pick what I'm doing?
Yeah. Kaylin, if you were going to do anything, you get the feeling that now is the moment.
All right. She's going to move Lachlan.
You're going to move
further, either towards her, somehow help get him further away from the crowd. What she wants to do.
Okay, you could use, let's see, don't you have you have Dimensional Scramble. That's a burst 1 power. So if you want, you could use Dimensional Scramble to teleport everybody who is around Lachlan away from him.
Oh, I'll do that.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, because no one knows that
regardless of what I do, it's only going to get worse. So,
well, okay. Okay, so here's what happens. No one knows that you have psionic powers. Your hands are tied, so they're assuming you can't cast any spells, but you don't need to do that in order to use Dimensional Scramble. So what I need you to do is to make a roll of the 1d20 against the angry mob's will, which is their fortitude, which unfortunately is a 14. So you use your Scion. You need an 11. You have a +4 to your Scion powers.
Come on, Vara. 12.
12. Okay. Go ahead and roll one. Well, first of all, do you want to augment it to do more damage and teleport them further, or just?
No, because I have a feeling I'm going to lead those later.
That's not a bad choice. Okay. Roll 1d6 and add your damage bonus.
Okay. Damage bonus is 4. Wait.
That's right.
4? Okay. 2, so 6 total.
Okay. Now, they are a mob, and that is a swarm. So they actually have vulnerability 10 against close and area attacks. So you actually did 16 points of damage.
Oh. Nice.
Okay, and that ends the surprise round, and it disturbs. I mean, everyone screams because all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's this gathering of energy, and people hear like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, is there like a visual around her? Like,
there might be a minor visual around her, but people are more looking at what happens because they look up at their hands. And their hands are kind of like flashing, like they're going in and out of focus. And then people are like, ah! And suddenly they start teleporting all over the place and slamming into each other and falling over each other and knocking heads into each other. And you're like, oh, like that. But you're tied up, and so everyone's not really looking at you. Now, Do you want to
What?
conceal the fact that you did this?
She's gonna try.
Make a bluff check
Okay. How do I do that?
with disadvantage.
Great.
You have a charisma of 8.
Oh my god.
So let's see how you do. Just roll the 1d20.
It's my dumb stat. Yay! Not bad. 17.
Oh, that's decent. Okay.
Yeah, that one was 18, so I did pretty good.
I'm going to make an average roll for the crowd.
Okay.
If I can open gift from the wife here, this beautiful die case that she
That's
had made called
awesome.
Holy Rollerz. And if I don't miss my guess, I'm not the only one who has one of these.
That's so cool.
So yeah, so let me open my dice here.
Hey, where's mine?
I don't know. I guess your wife doesn't love you. I'm not sure. Like,
My
all
wife
right.
talked to her friends and had them buy the box for their husbands. So
Oh, there you go.
It's on that FedEx plane in
So,
Castaway.
yeah, I can give you guys information about these. It's an Etsy shop called JBG Garage Crafts.
Okay.
I'll put a link on the YouTube description.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So I rolled a random check for the mob to see how well they were paying attention versus your bluff. And unfortunately for them, they have a wisdom of 6. So you barely managed to deceive them. They don't know that you did it.
She just
Barely.
like back against the pole and is like, yes.
Okay.
What's the priest? What's the priest doing right now?
Well, we are now at the beginning of a initiative. That was the surprise round, and he's lighting the stalks on fire.
Fantastic.
The wood. Yeah. So yeah, actually, it's pretty disturbing the way he does it too. So he grabs his holy symbol, or at least you assume that he grabs his holy symbol because he's clutching his clothes like this, and he chants briefly and starts pointing, and fire starts gathering around his hand. And now, my friends, we are now in initiative. So everyone roll the initiative. Tell me what you get.
17.
Oh, hey.
24.
Okay.
23.
Show offs.
Do Lachlan
It's
and
these
I need
dice
to do a
cases.
tiebreaker?
Kaylin?
Me and Lachlan both got 17. Do we need to do a tiebreaker?
No, because I think his dexterity is higher than yours. Lachlan, what's your dexterity?
14.
All right, so Lachlan, you are going to go. So Kaylin, we're going to make you 16.
Okay.
Okay. And now, for the priest. What is his name? I'm trying to make really quick chance. Brother Mazamar. Brother Mazamar has a +1 to initiative. Not great.
I was going to say Priest McDouchebag, but whatever.
He rolled 21.
Dang, that's a good roll with a +1.
Yeah, he rolled. Well, sorry, I rolled a nat 20. He rolled a
He's
21.
feeling it.
Okay, the angry mob has a +0. I rolled another 20. So
Please stop.
Hey, I'll take it with initiative because it's not a hit.
Yes,
Well-
get those out of the way right now.
I'm taking the green one
Yeah.
and I'm putting him in timeout.
See you later.
Valid.
Okay, very good.
Thanks,
That's
Joe.
2 20s on the player characters. Okay. Now, Anduriel, you would be at the top of initiative. What would you like to do?
All right. Hey. I'm going to do Swarm of Shadows.
Oh, you are? You're just going to bada bing, bada boom, huh?
With Mr. Priest. Mr. Priesty right there.
Okay. Alrighty.
Um,
So you want to hit him. How, let's see, you are 6 squares away at an angle. That would work just fine. What is the distance on that?
Oh, maybe I can. It's a close blast 3.
Yeah, you are not close enough to him.
No, that's a good point.
You can, if you choose to, make an acrobatics check and drop down from the tower onto the platform.
I am going to do an acrobatics check to do that. So
I will remind you that if you jump down as opposed to climb down and take longer, you could fall. But
Cool.
C'est la vie.
Does this game have fall damage?
Oh,
He's
yes.
part vampire.
He does, maybe.
What? It can't be like Skyrim where you can leap from everything and not die?
I got a 28.
All right.
No.
With a 28,
I got a 27.
You can land on any square on that platform you want to.
I land right next to the priest.
Okay, you are in You're in 7I, Andrew.
7I, yes, sorry,
Okay.
7I.
All right, so tell me what that looks like when you leap down, since your acrobatics check was perfect.
Well, Anduriel says, this is getting out of hand. And he leaps off the tower and does sort of a flip. But as he does the flip, the cloak that he wears, it's a black cloak, pitch black cloak. It seems to envelop him a little bit and slow his fall and almost set him down on the platform.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Anduriel, you leap off, and the cloak kind of billows, and for a minute, it looks like you halt in midair, and you drop down next to the priest. I'm assuming that I don't know, are you trying to do this surreptitiously, or are you just... No. Nope. All right, so you leap down, and, you're not making any secret of it, and he looks up, and he looks at you, and he goes, "Ah!" as you leap down and land next to him. And it's more like he just was startled, not necessarily like he knew why he should be afraid of you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. That was your move action. You still have a minor and a standard, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Weapon of Divine Protection on the priest. It's strength versus armor class.
All right. His armor class is 16, my friend.
Okay. So it's a +6. I have a +6. 17.
Okay. That is a hit.
Okay.
So your kukri does 1d6.
Yes, I should have mentioned I draw my kukri.
Yes.
My kukri does 1d6, and then it's 1d8 for the damage of the attack itself.
Okay.
Oh. 19.
19 total.
19 total.
Are you adding your cleric damage, or are you adding... I don't remember how your character sheet works necessarily.
It's a plus the 1d6 for the kukri, plus then a 1 die. Oh, I get a bonus 1d6. Sorry. Add 3 to that.
Okay. So...
And then my weapon attack is +5 damage.
Okay, so total?
Yeah.
What did you get total, my friend?
Oh, sorry.
I'm confused.
23 total.
Okay, and what is the effective Weapon of Divine Protection?
Allies adjacent to me get +2 defenses till end.
All right, so the allies who are adjacent to you right now would be no one, unfortunately, unless you land in another square.
No, I landed there because the pyre's on the one side and he's right there. I have to be close.
Okay.
Unless
you would like to land on 8K. Yeah, 8K or 8J.
8J, because he's on
8K 8J would put you right next to Kalen.
Yeah, that's where yeah.
However, if you land on 8K, you'll be adjacent to Kalen and Lachlan.
Sorry, I lost track of where Lachlan was, or else I would have done that. So
Lachlan is on 9L.
Okay, yeah, 8K. I landed on 8K.
You guys are essentially flanking me.
They get +2 defenses till end.
All right, so Lachlan and Kalen, your defenses all go up like +2. This is what Anduriel does. He drops down and he chants or he whispers something over his dagger, his kukri. It's this wicked-looking curved dagger. And as he does so, shadow kind of just gathers around the blade, and he does this little dance, and the priest looks at him and is really rather startled, and he goes for a mace, and he lifts his mace, but Anduriel just teases him and then stabs him right in the side. As he pulls the kukri back, shadow kind of pours off the blade like smoke, and it gathers in front of you and Lachlan, and it's kind of like blocking the image of you. So you're surrounded by a small shield of shadow energy.
Okay.
Anduriel, you still have a minor action. Anything you want to do?
I'd like to try and get Kaylin off the pyre.
Okay, that is going to be a move action at least.
Okay.
You couldn't accomplish that with a minor action, unfortunately.
Then what I will do, can I intimidate the priest?
Yeah, you can try to intimidate the priest. It's usually a standard action, but you can, if you'd like, you can try to freak him out a little bit.
That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm trained in it, so I thought I'd give it a try here.
Okay, his will. Well, first of all, what'd you get?
24 all told.
Okay. His will is 15, so you've definitely freaked him out a little bit. You've startled him. What do you do to startle him?
Well, after I make the attack, I turn to him, and so only he can see my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I grin a little bit, and he sees my incisors come out.
Okay.
And and Duriel says, "Now would be a good time to run, little priest."
Okay. All right. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared of you. Okay.
I'd say, you're preaching about hope. There's no hope for you.
Oh no. Okay. All right. He looks a little intimidated. Okay, that would be Anduriel's turn, and now it would be Gizik. Gizik, my friend.
Yes.
You are on the outside of the gate, so we'll put you about 22K, somewhere around there. Okay. After ransacking these poor townspeople out of their goods, you were...
What can I say? You know, they were good herbs. I liked.
Hey, if they had
100
100 gold worth of herbs.
Oh yeah. Well, he rolled really high. I mean, he found things that were extremely expensive to find, like halfling's toenail fungus, and he knew what it was.
To use them too. So
you almost made me eliminate. Thank God you didn't.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. So, Gizik, what are you gonna do? All hell's breaking loose in the churchyard.
Do I recognize any of the people in there?
That's funny you should mention.
Can I tell what's going on?
You have a vague recollection about a dream that you once had that these people kind of remind you of. You feel like you may have seen them before, but it's just a vague notion.
Oh, have you been dreaming about us? Oh.
That's so tender.
All right. I'm going to move in closer.
You're going to move in closer? All right, tell me where you're going.
I'm going to move over to the corner of the tree.
Okay.
Are those what the pond squiggles are, or the circles?
The circles are trees, and those little ponds, the little one with the squiggles in it, those are ponds, or not ponds, but puddles of water.
Gotcha.
They were so uniform, they kind of looked like pillars.
Yeah, no, they're puddle. It's mud.
All right, so from there, I'm going to... I don't like the priest.
You don't like
I don't like the priest. I think he doesn't look like... Let's see. Actually, I would see Kaylin, right? And I probably have some indication that that's the person that I'm here supposed to be saving.
Well, there's only one girl who looks like she's about to be burned.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to attack the priest.
It's a one-woman show.
I'm going to bewitch the priest. I'm going to try and take over.
First, tell me what square you're in.
I did. Let's see. L16.
L16. Okay,
yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, go ahead. The priest's will is 15.
Okay. $15.
Yep, priest's will is 15.
I rolled a 16.
Okay, you've bewitched him. Which effect are you using?
I'm going to -2 penalty to fortitude.
Okay. Brother Mazarin now has a -2 penalty to fortitude. You still have a standard action. What would you like to do?
Yes, I am going to usurp the soul. Target that just right next to him on the corner of the platform over there, so it doesn't hurt any of my teammates. Just him.
Okay, so his fortitude now is 12.
Okay.
No, 12. We're doing numbers, not letters.
Okay, so that's a burst 1. So if there's any angry crowd people near him, it would attack them as well.
Not behind him. The angry crowd was to the left on row 8, but Kalen has shoved them back.
Okay, so they're too far away. All right, let's roll this then. Oh. 7.
A 7 is not going to do it. Okay, so Gizik, you go loping up with those enormous arms of yours and looking up and possibly grumbling because you're like, where's this stupid woman? And then you're like, oh, dang it, I found her. So
crap, now I have to do my job.
All right, so you start casting a spell, but this lady standing next to you screams and she throws up her arms and she hits your arm while you're casting. And she goes running, but you launch this crackling red energy into the sky. Do you have any choice words for her?
Quality.
Eloquence. My name is Gizik.
He threw off my
Yeah.
What's your charisma?
Yeah.
Oh, my charisma is amazing. It's 14.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Well, that's better than Kalen's. Anyway, okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
She has a way with maybe 3 words. I don't know. Anyway, okay.
Oh, my poor baby girl.
All right. Now it would be Brother Mazamar's turn. And he looks out. I mean, all hell has broken loose. And he looks down. And Duriel, you're the one he is the most concerned with. He is going to cast Awaken Pride on you, Anduriel.
Okay.
So in order to do that, he's going to have to shift back to 7i. So Anduriel, he grabs his shirt and whatever symbol he has under it, holy symbol, and he points at you and starts chanting. What is your will, Anduriel?
Will is 13.
All right, he has a +5, so he needs an 8. Here comes the roll.
You're not rolling that 20 dice, are you?
I rolled the red one, the new red one that I just got.
Okay.
And I hit you. Unfortunately, well, I didn't hit you. It was him that
Well,
hit
he
you.
did. What a jerk. I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so first you were going to take 1 die 10. Oh. Nothing. It's okay. You're going to take 11 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And something really disturbing happens to you, Anduriel. You look around you and you are suddenly just filled with disgust at Kalen for getting caught. And you're irritated with that stupid bard who interrupted the hymn that might have turned part of the crowd. And there's some loping, disgusting, giantish-looking creature flinging magic recklessly, and the priest is making you hungry. And you are going to be forced to spend your standard action berating everyone around you on your next turn.
Okay.
You will still have a move and a minor. Not that I know you'll be able to do that. Now, there is the possibility someone could help you possibly before your turn. So who knows? We'll see what happens. That is his turn. And he is going to use an action point. Unfortunately. Not for you, Kalen. It's not good at all. Okay.
He says with obvious glee.
All right. Anduriel, Lachlan, and Kalen, what is your reflex?
14.
Okay, Kalen, hit. Lachlan, what is your reflex?
14. Actually, don't I have a +2 to all defenses?
Yes.
Yes.
16.
Okay, he missed you. Okay, Anduriel.
14.
Miss. Kalen, this is so appropriate. You're the only
Kaylin,
one.
did you add your +2, Kaylin?
She did. I added it. She
Oh,
still
you
got
did.
hit. The roll was too high, unfortunately. All right. He lifts his hands up, Kalen, grabs his holy symbol, and he says, "Behold the fires of hell! The goddess's judgment comes down upon her." And he lifts his hands while he grabs the holy symbol, and there is a horrid screaming sound like someone being tortured, and a fissure opens up next to you, and hellfire pours over you.
This is not good.
It really isn't. Kaylin, you take 22 points of damage.
Holy
and ongoing fire damage 5. You would be knocked prone, but you're still tied up. So he basically...
So she's just like limp.
Yeah. He basically explodes with fire, and there's screams of people being tortured as he calls down the judgment of the damned upon you.
How many points of damage again, please?
22, Lamb Chop. Sorry.
Oh my god.
So pretty much lights the pyre.
Yes, the pyre has been lit on fire. So, Kaylin, what are you down to?
2 HP.
Okay, so Kaylin has 24. Now, this is a beautiful moment to remind all of our friends in chat who are watching, and also to remind you that this is a party full of priests, and the healing is not far away. So take some comfort. Unless, of course, anyway. Never mind.
Unless you're on fire.
Priests of some fashion, not necessarily
Okay.
the healing kind.
Well, yeah, there's
We
healing
have
somewhere.
some. We have some.
We have some. Okay. All right. So, Kaylin, you are just in agony, and the flames are all around you, and your world explodes in fire. Have a nice day. Okay. All right. Lachlan, the mob moves against you. They look at that fire that envelops Kaylin, and they say, "The goddess judges her. She is judged." Excuse me.
No worries.
Yeah.
Beverages are good.
Yep. And the mob moves to envelop you, Lachlan. The mob is gargantuan. To give you an idea of how many spaces it takes up.
4x4.
What's that?
It's a 4x4.
That is true.
Ugh.
There's a 4x4 mob in front of Lachlan, basically taking up 4x4, 16 squares. Lachlan, my friend,
my Lord.
When you begin your turn, you're going to take damage from the mob, but they're going to now attack you. What's your AC? Never mind.
Right.
They got a 9. They missed you. Okay.
Oh, good.
So, Lachlan, this mob falls over you, screaming about the fires of hell that the goddess has judged you. And you're like, ah! Like they're grabbing you. Somebody's taking your fiddle bow and shoving it up. I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, it's all all kinds of violation going on.
Oh my goodness.
Lachlan, it is now your turn, and unfortunately, if you start your turn, they get to make an attack on you. So here comes the attack for starting your turn. What is your AC again?
Right now it's 18.
They missed. So by the grace of shadow and other things, you are deflecting all kinds of blows.
Okay.
All right. And that is the mob's turn. Lachlan, you're in a bad way, but it is your turn.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing I want to do is shift back 1. So shift to M9.
Okay. You are still, of course, in the mob.
I am?
Yeah, it's gargantuan.
So where did it go?
The mob ends on N9 and then down to 12M. That's the end of the mob. And then 4 squares to the left of both of those.
So would I have been able to get an attack of opportunity as they came in to me?
With a swarm, I don't think it works that way.
Okay. Well,
however,
then,
I will tell you, if you remember, this mob got freaking rocked by Kalen's psionic powers. So.
Yeah, I don't do much of the burst blast kind of business. So
Not so much, no.
Um,
You got a standard and you got a minor left.
well, I'm not going to shift back if I can't get out of the area, so
Oh, okay.
I'll take that move back.
All right. Well, you just take that move back then.
Taking that move back. I'm going to use that move to cast Majestic Word on Kaylin.
What do you say to her? This
Oh,
girl is on fire. I couldn't help it. Sorry, it's the title of the episode.
We forget.
All
I
right.
say, love be upon you.
Aw.
Oh,
I rolled the wrong die.
well, okay.
Not that much love.
Not that much.
Only a little.
Okay, give me a little bit.
It's your surge +4.
Okay. Kaylin,
And
your
can I
surge
slide
value-
her?
Your surge value is 7, Kaylin. So you healed 11, so you're up to 13 hit points.
With
Thank
5
you.
ongoing
That's literally
damage.
better than 2.
Can I slide her?
No, she's tied to the stake still. Although on the plus side, the ropes will probably be burned up in a couple rounds.
Yeah. All right. With
That's
my
not positive.
so with my minor action, I'm going to cast. Oh no, I don't want to use that. Never mind.
Okay,
Sorry.
Jess, hold, one sec. Jess, you got your hand up.
How do I calculate the ongoing fire damage?
It
My
hits you at the
HP.
beginning of your turn. You take 5 points automatically on your turn.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Lachlan.
Okay. I am going. I can still see the priest, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're surrounded by a horrible, angry mob that you're barely ducking left and right, but he's standing above you, so it's not hard to see him.
Okay. Well, the mob's an issue, but he needs to be stopped.
One would, well, I mean, he did just light someone on fire, so I think that's probably a safe thing to say.
And there's no way he worships Bestera.
Don't. Are you assuming his religion?
I am
Yes,
assuming.
yes, we are.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
No assumption. He told us what his religion is. He believes
He
in
did?
himself.
True.
He is promoting the faith of man.
He's like, the gods have told me not to listen to the gods.
Which
It
makes
makes-
I
no
mean,
sense at all.
Right, it's not
Yeah.
a consistent position, but
No.
he's just
That's why Caitlin's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Jeffrey, are you trying to apply logic to this situation? Because I'm not sure that's appropriate here. But anyway,
Well,
No,
Caitlin totally is
so-
as well. Walt
I'm
died.
gonna channel divinity at him
oh,
and use unrequited love.
unrequited love. Here it comes. Okay,
How do
tell
you
us what
use
that
it?
does. Now, for those of you who are in chat or who will be watching this later, I have homebrew designed a different channel divinity power for every deity in my pantheon. Lachlan is now using that power, unrequited love. Tell them what it does.
Well, let's see if I hit first, shall we?
Tell them what it. All right, tell them what it might do. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
What are you
Tell them
targeting
what
his
it would've
will?
done.
Yeah, it's his will. What's his
will
will?
is 15.
Oh, okay. I got a 21. So
That'll do, pig.
he shouts out, "Lady Trueheart, shatter his heart on the altar of your scorn."
Oh.
And he is pulled. I want to pull him into the mob, so right in front of Andurio.
Oh.
If I can pull him off the stage.
All right. You drop him off of the dais, which is technically 1 square up. So I'm going to let you roll 1 die 6. I'll let you roll 1 die 4 for the damage that it causes him.
Well, he's also going to be knocked prone, so
Okay.
at 4. I rolled a 4, so
Very nice. Poor brother
Good
Mazarin.
job. Good job.
he is pulled. He is
Poor
knocked.
brother Mazarin. No.
What did he do? Okay, yes.
He gains
can-
vulnerability 5 all until the end of my next turn, and he has to spend his next standard action begging my forgiveness and confessing his undying love to me.
I forgot. I forgot when I designed this how fun it was. Okay.
That's amazing.
Okay, so Kaylin, you're on fire. The flames are momentarily blown as if by the wind, by the incredible surge of psychic energy that comes off of Lachlan as he shouts that out. And Duriel, you are briefly the disgust you feel for everyone around you is briefly mollified by this feeling of affection for everybody. And then it dissipates rather quickly, but it does interrupt that feeling for a minute. All right, so on his turn, that will definitely be happening to him.
So with
All
my
right.
I'm having a real emotional roller coaster today.
Yes.
With my minor action, I'm going to activate my Defender aura.
Okay.
And then I also want to use an action point.
Oh, okay.
I want to use Blunder on the priest.
Okay.
And it's again versus will, which is, what's his will? 15, you said?
His will is 15, yes.
Okay. Hit, that's a 17. So he's going to take 1d6 plus 5. So he's going to take 8, which I guess with his vulnerability means 13.
Okay.
And then an ally or I can make a melee basic attack. I want to give Enduriel a melee basic attack against him.
Very nice.
With a +3 to attack.
Anduriel,
Okay.
you get to whack him.
Well, that would make me happy.
Oh, good.
Angry happy because I'm still pissed at everybody, but
At every yeah. And you look down on them.
yes. So that's a 17. I'm not. What do I add to that? Anything? Since it's just a melee basic.
That hits all of his defenses. So
Okay.
you add your normal damage.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And then it's just the 1d6.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's a 1.
Oh, that's okay. So what do you get total? 1 plus.
So total I'll get 6.
Okay.
But he's vulnerable, so that's 11.
Oh, very nice.
Oh.
Very nice. All right. Brother Mazarin has just been rocked. I mean, he has been cut and hacked up and dropped off and beaten and boffed and biffed. And it's a bad day for him.
For him.
Who bloodied him?
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Is he bloodied?
He is bloodied. Yeah, he's definitely bloodied.
Who bloodied him?
Anduriel just bloodied him.
So he gets 4 temporary hit points.
Ooh, very
From-
nice. All right, so you used Blunder with an action point. So here's what happens. He goes falling off the ledge as he comes running towards you, just looking heartbroken that he's wronged you. He goes, "I'm sorry!" And he launches himself off the stage.
Yes.
Trying to land on his feet, but mid-air, you cast Blunder, and he goes, "Whoa!" And he hits head first down in front of Anduriel. Anduriel,
Cheers.
what do you say to him, Anduriel, as you cut him?
To the priest?
Remember, you are filled with just superiority and disgust as you cut him.
Well,
So
I'm
he's
just.
a vampire.
Not only are you a terrible priest, you can't even run. What is this amateur hour here today at this buyer? And then I just.
All right, then you just stab him. Kaylin, you were going to say something?
Kaylin cheers.
Okay.
As
Kaylin.
best she can.
It's your turn, Kaylin, so you can cheer on your turn. Kaylin, you take 5 points of fire damage.
Okay, so I'm down to 8. No, wait. 13. 8.
All right. Now, Kaylin, normally you would make a save versus the magic that he used to shake off the spell. But here's your problem. He lit the pyre on fire. So unless you move a square, you're going to keep taking 5 damage unless we have a water spell with us.
So
I've looked at all your character sheets, and y'all ain't got no water spell. So
yeah, so she's got to move or die.
okay.
Okay.
I carry a bucket.
That would be so handy. Like you don't even know.
I've got a
Chicken?
cauldron.
Like
There's
a bucket of chicken, or like, I got the Colonel's recipe.
Isaac is like rifling through bags, going water. It's the one thing I don't have.
Okay.
I should have stole some
Lachlan
water.
was just in the bar.
Okay.
Yeah, but we really don't want to pour alcohol on this.
All right.
I mean,
Kaylin,
it's been
darling, yours
filtered.
will be the last turn of the evening, so make it count.
All right, so she's got to do because the world slipping advance. Can I teleport myself?
With World Slipping Advance, I believe, yes, you can teleport yourself if you augment it with 1 power point.
Okay, well, since it's the end of the night, we're gonna go out with a bang. I'm gonna augment it with both.
Okay, here's the problem. With World Slipping Advance, you have to hit somebody to make it happen. And the only one who's next to you is Anduriel.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Hit him.
He is looking down his nose at you.
Can she just be like, sorry, whap?
He is a scary vampire.
Well, he did bare his fangs, although it's not sure that any of you noticed that yet.
It was just at the priest. I was very careful.
Yeah, so nobody actually has seen that yet, so you don't know if maybe he's not a vampire. Yeah.
Where is he in relation to Kaylin? Like, did she like see the back of his head?
Kaylin, you are on 7K, and Duriel is right in front of you on 8K.
Okay. She's just gonna be like, sorry, take a sucker punch and punch him in the back of the head.
On our first stream, there's party infighting.
I know, I'm sorry.
All right, roll your attack and smack him.
Let me see. What is my attack? Is it just the 20?
Well, this is a weapon attack, so it's a +7.
Okay.
Oh, I thought she just punched him.
Well, she can hit him with the flat of her greatsword.
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
As if that makes it better.
All right. So what I'll let you do is just roll 1d6 damage, like you're using it like a club.
Okay.
Did you hit? I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me roll.
Yeah, roll 1d20 and add 7.
Add 7. 10.
Okay. Unfortunately, a 10 is not going to whack the Anduriel, so swing and a miss.
Crap.
Well, you have an option here, Kaylin. What you can do is, if you want, you can use your action point and take another attack. You only get one action point every 3 encounters, but you can use it now and take an attack.
I'll do that.
All right, what do you want to do? Do you want to try World Slipping Advance again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, roll the 1d20 again and add 7.
27.
Whack! Okay, roll 1d6.
That was a considerably better roll. 2.
All right, Anduriel, you take 2 points of damage. It feels like somebody cracks you over the back of the head with a club.
All you hear is, sorry!
I trigger Blade of Nightmares and I immobilize my attacker. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right.
That would be hilarious, though.
All right, Kaylin, you are able to teleport 1 square. You have used 1 power point. Where are you going?
Probably behind the platform.
Okay.
That's like 5. Oh, pardon
6.
me. 6I.
6I. Kaylin, you are 6I. Okay. All right, Kaylin, you managed to free your arm enough to draw your greatsword, and you pull it out and you swing it and club Anduriel on the back of the head with it. And he's like, boom, ah! Like, and then you shimmer out of existence, and you are down there below the platform, where I would like to point out no one can really see you.
That was the idea.
Okay. You are now out of the fire also, so you are no longer a burnin' if you make a saving throw. So you need to roll the 1d20. You need a 10 or higher, and you shake off the fire spell.
Okay. 3.
That's unfortunate. However, Kaylin, you have you still have a minor action and a move action. Would you like to heal yourself?
Yeah, do I do that with my daily?
With your daily spell, Healing Word, you can heal yourself of a surge plus 1d6.
Yes, I will do that.
All right, what does she say when she heals herself? It's a prayer, so...
Help, Fahara. I'd really rather not die.
Okay. All right.
She's less than eloquent at this moment.
With the charisma of 8, you grab your holy symbol, which is that disc of silver and gold, like parted down the middle. You grab it, and that's enough. Your holy symbol flares with golden light, and it spreads over you. And you heal 7 points and roll 1d6.
Okay, I got a 5.
All right. Oh, dang. So, Kaylin, you heal 12 hit points.
Yay. So where am I at now? Sorry, math.
You're at 15, I believe.
Thank you.
However, you're going to be down to 10 on your turn.
That's okay. 10 is better than 0.
Yep. Okay. Well, that, I believe, is going to take us to the end of our night. We are quite a bit over. I do apologize for that. for those who are going to continue. So now is the time that we stop. We have a 2-hour limit here with time. We've got quite a number of busy characters here. So we are going to stop for the night, and we will pick this combat up next time. But now we have come to the end of the stream, Holy Rollerz, and we have a special tradition that we like to do at the end of our stream. It's called Consider This. And that's where we're going to share an inspirational thought with you. It could be a quote from somebody that we admire. It could be something significant, an experience maybe that happened to one of us, or something like that. Could be a scripture, it could be anything. So if you want to stick around for Consider This, we're really happy to share it with you. If you're not interested in an inspirational thought of any kind, you are welcome to log off right now or turn off the video. That's entirely up to you. JT, that does not apply to you. Sit your butt down. Anyway.
Class isn't over.
Yeah. I can't hear what you're saying, which is good. So let me go ahead and bring this up really quick. It is a document. Okay. So I have the first one, being that I am the dungeon master. I have the first Consider This. So here it is. Consider this. So Chris Pratt got up and gave a really significant speech at the MTV Awards when he was basically talking to a bunch of young people. And he gave 9 rules for life. If you've never read it or looked it up before, I would definitely encourage you to do so. He gives some really great basic rules for kind of just living well or doing well or being healthy mentally. And he also gives rules for pooping. And in a neighbor's house. Yeah, it's Chris Pratt, right? But let me tell you one of the things that he said that really impressed me. He got up in front of this audience in Hollywood, looked right out to them, and he said, God is real. He loves you, and he wants the best for you. And then he looked out and he told everybody to learn to pray. He said, you were designed imperfect, and if you accept that, then you'll have grace. And it really touched me when he said that. So I echo that sentiment to those of you who are interested. I believe that God is real. From the depths of my soul, I believe that. And I have reached out in prayer, and I have felt him answer on the other side of that prayer. So if you've never tried it before, maybe try it. There's a lot of anxiety out in the world right now, and a lot of unsurety, a lot of anger in political movements. And that is a place where I find my peace. So just consider that. If you've never prayed before, maybe try it. Just something to consider. Anybody from our cast have anything that they would like to add to that?
Nope. I think you nailed it.
Second. Great job, man. All
right. Thank you. All right. For those of you who watched with us tonight, thank you so much. We love you.
Yes.
We are excited to play this game for you. It's going to be a great experience, and our cast appreciates you for participating in this with us. So from all of us here at Holy Rollerz, we tell you, have a good night, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.